G'day YouTube, how the heck are we doing? It is Foul Play here and we're back for the second match of this Pauper League. We lost our opponent on the play. We're going to keep this 6-card hand. We've only got 1 mana, but we have got Utopia, Sprawl and Commune to help us get there. Opponent Island and Faeries. So this is a Faeries matchup. Really hope we see Forest here. If we can tempo them, we have a fairly decent time. If we can't tempo their counter magic, then it makes things a lot harder. Alright, we find Forest, and that's literally perfect. We want to make sure our hexproof creature is not countered, so that has to be resolved this turn. Next turn we can go Utopia into probably Cartouche plus Commune. See how our opponent responds. So they're attacking. Is there a ninja effect? Yep, so Moon Circuit Hacker. The nice thing about Moon Circuit Hacker is it does buff our creatures. Wow, we just get to do what we want. That's pretty nice. Well, a Rancor would be even better to see here. First Faeries here, 2 to the top. This Faeries here, 2 to the bottom. Find Abundant Growth. Well, we're in a pretty good spot regardless. So for white, then Ethereal Armor here. Oh, actually, let's Cartouche. So we have a Warrior to block the Moon Circuit Hacker. And then I think we Abundant Growth over here. Although Commune's probably better to set up for Armadillo Cloak. We have 3 mana regardless. Yeah, let's set up for Armadillo Cloak. See Crystal Grotto. That's... oh, wait, no. I probably should have gone for Sentinel's Eyes. Attack for 2. And no blocks from the opponent. So, opponent sending in, and I'll happily trade off this Warrior token here. I don't really expect main deck. Oh wow, opponent shrinks our creature with Brandborn Intruder. I don't expect main deck Curfew, so I won't play around that. Looks like our opponent's holding up Counterspell or Spellstutter Sprite. And find a second Bogle, so not amazing. Let's start off with our Scry effect. Utopia Sprawl. That can probably go on the bottom. I think we can do a bit better here. I think overall Armadillo Cloak's the more important aura. I'm going to test my opponent's counter magic. Alright, so Spellstutter Sprite. Currently opponent has 2 Fairies, so that wouldn't have countered Armadillo Cloak. We'll go ahead, Abundant Growth, find another Armadillo Cloak. Alright, so gives us the attack, and we can block with our Bogle. Block out that Moon Circuit Hacker. We just have to resolve one of these 2 Armadillo Cloaks, and we'll most certainly win. Of 1 mind from our opponent. Down to 2 cards before that, back up to 4. Alright, and opponent sending in with the team. Definitely block the Moon Circuit Hacker again. And no ninja effects by the looks of things. Okay, so we take 3 damage. We take their card draw effect or card loot effect off the table. And it's not looking too bad. We're 1 mana off of definitely resolving this. Off of casting 2 in the same turn. I don't think we want to wait though. I think we want to force the issue. Opponent has literal counterspell. That's fine. We want to try and deplete our opponent's resources as best as possible. Hopefully we draw an aura next turn, or our opponent has Spellstutter Sprite will get Armadillo Cloak next turn. We want to hit exactly aura next turn. 4 in our opponent's hand. And they're sending in the whole team. 3 mana up. And probably another Moon Circuit Hacker by the looks of things. Sure thing. So this is good for us. It's good for us because if they have another Spellstutter Sprite, we can resolve past Spellstutter Sprite, even if we can't resolve past Counterspell. So this forces them to have 2nd copy of Counterspell in hand. Are you kidding me, opponent? Jesus. You're drawing pretty well. Alright, I think we hold up blocks for the Moon Circuit Hacker here. We're behind on board. Alright, well, if we got past the counterspell, then we were favoured. Now I think we are not favoured. I also think earlier on with our commune, if we'd have selected our one of Sentinel's Eyes, instead of being focused on getting that third land drop, I think we would have been in a better spot. And mutagenic growth, so we pretty much lose from here. Rip. Alright, well, we'll concede. On to sideboarding. Yeah, really awkward with that mutagenic growth. I think we had to assume they didn't have it with how far behind we were. A reminder, guys, if you do find this video useful or entertaining, please consider subscribing. So this seems like a more recent list. We can see Brine Barrow Intruder. Still with Ninja of Deep Hours. Looks like they're dropping Delver, and that card was a little bit inconsistent, so understandable. With interaction, we can see 2 Spell Pierce, 4 Counterspells, 4 Mutagenic Growth, Snap, but that's not very important. You can see from the sideboard they have a Null, and Spritesy. What's this? Flying Pro Red. Okay, that's fair enough, if that's their tech. Sometimes they have things like Curfew, they have more counter magic, so that's what we have to be aware of. So with our sideboarding, I mean, Scattershot Archer is just an all-star, and that is most certainly coming in. We can possibly look to bring in Standard Bearer as a redirect target for their mutagenic growth, and that could make blocking a little bit easier. That could be overboarding though, as they might be boarding some number of copies of that out. There's also potential for Ram Through, and I mean, I think Ram Through is possibly a little bit better than that. Cartouche of Knowledge is probably okay in some number at like 2 or 3 copies, but I don't think we want more than that. After this, probably trim on Mask because it's a little bit slow. Then maybe it's just a Cartouche. With that, we'll submit and get into game 2. Alright, so this hand, Utopia Sprawl, turn to Sulhana Ledgewalker. Sulhana Ledgewalker loses a lot of value against flying decks. I think mostly the hand is fine. We can deploy 2 auras on turn 3. This is capable on the play, but probably not on the draw. And having the double Armadillo Cloak, again, we just have to resolve one of these Armadillo Cloaks and we're in a good spot. Alright, so opponent with Fairy Miscreant, they will have no scries to filter their draws. We hit Cartouche, which is a brick, but hopefully mana next turn. Alright, and opponent chooses not to attack in. Well, we'll see what they do. Kick it off with Cartouche of Solidarity and see if that meets a counterspell. Alright, so that one actually resolves, and that plays pretty nicely into our hands because we did draw the second copy of Rancor. And if they're going to spell Starter Sprite, Spell Pierce, sure. Usually I'll save the better aura for second and try to bait the counterspell the first time. Usually you're slow rolling a land when you do that though. So, oh, are you kidding me? You got mutagenic growth already? Alright, well, maybe we could have seen that coming. I really don't like relying on a warrior token here. Brine Barrow Intruder. I figured they were just going to counter the first strike aura and then try to get us. With a chump block. And opponent attacking with one creature, but not the other. Okay. Mutagenic Growth All-Stars here. This is really bad. This is definitely not what we want to draw. Does our opponent literally have Counterspell, or is this a kill effect, a bounce effect? Alright, so that gets countered, and I mean, we're drawing the complete wrong half of our deck. And they attack on in, and I don't think I want to block the Intruder. Opponent with Ninja on the Intruder. Yep, Ninja of Deep Hours, so steady stream of cards going to be hitting our opponent's hand. We need to hit mana here. Alright, any response? I guess we should attack with the warrior token first and do the second main. Pretty close to conceding here. That's my own fault for not dangling this in front of a blocker. It's very silly for me. Perhaps slightly tilted. I think we're very far behind and unlikely to win regardless, but definitely shouldn't be throwing away a hexproof creature in this spot. I would really like to see a mana source here. If we see mana source, maybe, just maybe. Our deck is giving us the royal middle finger. Very miscreant from the opponent drawing a card because they don't have enough of those already. Getting in there for 3, and they're just happy to hold up counter magic for the entire rest of the game. So the fact our entire hand is so heavy and mana reliant means we're unlikely to resolve any of these. They're just going to run a counter spell, and they've already got 2 Fairy Miscreants on the board, so Spell Starter Sprite will just clean answer our 3-drops. Still no attacks. We do want to just be able to resolve 1 Armadillo, Cloak and Prey. Opponent 7 mana, no trouble on making their land drops, and we'll take this. It's going to put us to 5. And we have to resolve Armadillo Cloak. I'm sure they have the answer. Bogle, welcome to the party. Alright, well, GG's to our opponent. That game was won, firstly, entirely off of tempo. Firstly, we got blown out by mutagenic growth. Maybe that was a risky attack and we shouldn't have played into it. I probably should have had the read on that, but secondly, it took us till turn 7 to make our second land drop and to actually start casting some of these auras in our hand. We drew entirely the top half of our deck and cartouche, which we couldn't cast. So like tempo was just a really big issue in this match, and that's why we lost. All right. Hope you enjoyed it. Apologies on the result, but variance is going to happen, and please let me know what you thought of the match in the comment section down below. Have a wonderful day. I'll catch you next time, guys.